Hey folks, Mike McGee here. Today starts a huge day and probably week. Last year it took us 7 days exactly to get this job done, but it's silage chopping time. Joel is clearing the place right now for the silage pile. And as you see, the beggars that eat the silage are standing right there. We're planning on feeding pretty heavy this year. Yeah. Old Valiente is going to hit the freezer this fall or winter sometime, and so got to lay it to him. So anyway, what we decided this year, we like to change stuff up, but we also like to improve every year. So this year what we decided to do was build walls with plywood, reinforced, because we learned something last year. We put a piece of plywood on my neighbor's tractor front end loader, and we shot the silage against it and packed it with the tractor. And guess what? It was a beautiful wall that just stood there. Perfect. Less waste, better compaction, good, clean, uniform look. We liked it. So this year, I went ahead and got some. I got some wavy stuff. Some of it was good, I had to pay full price for, but the majority of it was wavy stuff that had been a little wet. So we got off a little bit cheap. We're gonna build it right here, and we're going to shoot the silage in it and pack it, and it's going to be beautiful. I already know that. So this is the beginning. The boys are getting machetes rounded up right now, and we're fixing to get started. Let's do it. All right, folks, it's time to start chopping silage, and yeah, it's getting a little warm. It's nothing like the 90s, the high 90s we had last week, so we like this a lot better. We're like in the low 80s, I'd say, right now. Matt, you want to crank up the thing?
Sure.
You're the crankingest person I've ever seen. Caleb, let's go over there and get started. We've already got a nice big bunch here to chop up. We're really happy with our facility now. We think we've got it the way we want it. We got it braced up good. The front is short where we can't shoot over an 8-foot wall with this machine, but we got 8-foot wall back there, and we're just going to try our best to taper it or have it running straight and maybe taper it up and then back down. We don't know what it's going to look like when we're done. But before long, we will know. All right, Matt. What's the matter?
It's not really on the...
Yeah, start cranking.
Oh.
Hey! This is the way we've done it every year since we started making silage. And every year I get more and more of the same questions. Why don't you use a silage chopper? Why don't you use a whatever, a pit, a this and a that? This is the way we do it because it's the least amount of overhead. When you're only making this much silage, it don't pay to go to all that expense. So we do it this way, chopping it by hand, putting it through a wood chipper, packing it with the tractor to get as much oxygen out as possible, and then covering it with a tarp, and we feed it all winter long. It works good for us. That's the way we're going to keep doing it. I say let the good times roll. Folks, you see Miss Mary here cooked this fine meal, and it's lunchtime. People get really confused and think that we grow the corn for the corn. I don't grow the corn for the corn. I grow the corn for the steak. Most of y'all saw, I guess most of y'all saw, we fed this dude out with silage last year, and I made a whole series about it. And the way that we used our silage and our dried corn, our ear corn, we ground it in our big mixer, and we mixed up a fabulous ration. And that, my friend, is what made this steak so amazing. This right here is chuck steak. Supposed to be a little on the tougher side, but that right there is so good. So the corn feeds our carnivorous appetites, and a lot of fat is on here. That is where it's at right there. And corn is what puts fat on animals and humans. Fat don't put fat on humans. Fat gives you energy, and you burn it off if you don't eat too much sugar. Up at a feed store, and he had this bag of dried molasses that had a hole ripped in it, so he gave it to me. So I'm going to dump it in on this silage and let it sweeten the whole pot. Alright, you may be wanting to know, well, Mr. McGee, how did your crop do this year? Well, we had very dry weather. It started out so wet we couldn't plant till late, and then it stopped raining. I think in all the month of July we had a ½ inch. That's not much for Tennessee. So let's look at some ears, see. Yeah, it's tall. I'm amazed at the size of the stalks, even though the ear size isn't as big as we're used to on most years. This is the yellow Guatemalan corn. It's the only field of pure yellow Guatemalan I'd raised, and we're sort of in the mid dough stage. We're not in the real late. Now some of it is late dough stage, some of it's actually early dough stage, because we got very sporadic growth with that dry spell. But this here is about midway, and you say, McGee, what's dough stage? When you poke your fingernail into it, if it's in the early dough stage, it'll squirt. If it's in the late dough stage, you won't hardly get a fingernail in it. And the mid dough stage, it's just kind of juicy, but you wouldn't want to eat it. It'd be pretty hard to eat. Anyway, that's perfect time to make silage. We're getting into it because I just got a feeling if it stays dry, we're going to lose a bunch of it. If it starts raining, we're going to have mud to deal with. This is the perfect time. It just now started cooling off a little bit, and the ground is dry. We can get in here, get this up. I love it. lot of threads, ain't it, Joe?
Yeah.
Well, we replaced the Lovejoy connector on this thing back a few months ago when we was getting everything ready for season. And the thing slid back. I guess the Allen wrenches loosened, slid back. One of the little square keys flew out. And I don't know, it was a miracle. The thing landed right there on the ledge where we could find it. So the boys getting that put back together and we'll be back in business. All right, folks, it's getting down toward 5 o'clock and we're gonna call it a day. We've got 2 pickup loads left. We've got the machine put back together. Let's see if she'll crank right quick. That's your day. This is first day of silage season. It looks like we may have an eventful silage season because the spider connector that's in the Lovejoy is melted. So I don't think we can use it without that in there. I don't know. I'll have to talk to somebody that knows. But anyway, there's our silage day. We spent an hour or so building this contraption to contain it, and do I ever like it. Nothing overshoots, nothing just takes off in the field. We had a ton of overshooting last year. This time it all gets contained in there, gets packed in. It was nice to have some molasses, some dry molasses give to me today. I just sprinkled that in there. I don't know if it'll make it better, but I don't see how it could hurt it. If it'll hurt it, let me know, but it's too late because it's already in there. But anyway, I do know salt's good in it. I'm gonna put some salt over it probably when I get done. Spread it over the top and let that melt down in. They've done studies, they say it helps save a certain percentage of it from going bad on the top. So anyway, that's silage day number 1 in the books. You'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if we're gonna have a silage day 2. We hope we will, but that's all we've got for you today. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.